Welcome, everybody. So today, our Fearless Leader Sunday is unable to join us, so you're gonna have to put up with me and Ed, my fearless partner. So today, I think the main agenda item for us is to talk about Welcoming Week, which is September 8th through 17th. And the Refugee Alliance is partnering with several other groups to have a countywide initiative. So we have a few people joining us to talk about that. So let's do introductions. So I'm Joan Vandenberg. I'm a community member, and I'm also working at the College of Public Health on the PM Plus program that we're launching across the state of Iowa. And Ed, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Ed Cranston. I'm on the planning committee, and I also am a member of First Presbyterian Church in Iowa City.
Great. And Debbie at HACAP, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello, my name is Debbie Ackerman, and I am the Johnson County Coordinator for HACAP.
Great. And Sonia.
Hi, I'm Sonia Lonigan. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator with the Bureau of Refugee Services.
Oh, great. Nice to have you. And Nah, you're our new member here talking specifically about Welcoming Week.
Yeah, hi, my name is Na Li. I'm also a community member. I work at both University of Iowa teaching Chinese and also Prestige Properties. Both are part-time jobs.
Great.
Yeah, so I'm mainly connected with Chinese community, but we are thinking of, should I talk about the multicultural project now or?
Well, we'll do introductions and then we'll come back to you.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay, all right, that's good. All right, and Peter.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Gerlach. I'm faculty at the University of Iowa in the International Studies program, and I am the Executive Director of the Iowa City Foreign Relations Council. I also serve on the planning committee for the Refugee Alliance.
Great. Thanks, Peter. Christine.
Hello, can you hear me though?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm Christine Ross, and I'm the refugee health coordinator. Refugee health coordinator with the Bureau. So I think this is my first time meeting the group.
Yeah. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. Sarah.
Good morning. Or actually, I don't know which Sarah, but
Oh, you can go, Sarah.
so good morning, and Sarah Zainich. I'm one of two Sarahs at IRC, or International Relations Committee in Iowa.
Great. So now we'll have the other Sarah introduce herself.
Yeah. Hi. So yeah, I'm Sarah with an H. Cherlau, also with IRC in Iowa. And I'm the head of the office for IRC. So nice to see some familiar faces and some new faces.
Great. That's great. And I don't have a name, but it's someone at the Catherine McCauley Center. I'm sorry that I don't have a name for you.
Sorry, it's like I have to change that every time I get on a call. My name is Sean Hammond. I'm Catherine McCauley Center, started in a new role a few months back, working in advocacy and partnerships.
Great. Well, nice to meet you.
You too.
All right. And let me see, who have I not gotten to yet? Who have it? I'm not seeing everybody. I think there were a couple of other folks that signed on that I'm not seeing on my screen. If I haven't called on you, oh, there's Abby Fries. I knew I was missing somebody. You want to introduce yourself?
Good morning, Abby Fries, Resource Navigator at the Catherine McCauley Center. I had my camera off because I just found out I was exposed to COVID, so I have this funny mask on.
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. So
me too.
Hopefully you can escape that. Okay. All right, and Jenny?
Good morning. Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, Oh,
two
two
Jennies, I'm sorry.
Two Jennies, two Sarahs. It's just so confusing. Okay.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Jennifer Miller from Johnson County Public Health. I work with incommunicable disease, but I work with our refugee health services, such as helping complete I-695 forms for folks who are working on their green card.
Great. Thanks. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, now the other Jenny.
Good morning, I'm Jenny Hager, and I'm a community relations rep with AmeriGroup Iowa. We are one of the MCOs in the state of Iowa.
Great. Thank you. All right. Now I think maybe I got everybody. Did I miss anyone? Okay.
I'm here just speaking with the Iowa City Area Development Group. Sorry, I have my camera off as well today. I'm kind of on the move, but I've previously been involved with Welcoming Week, so happy to be here. Like I said, I'm on the move, so I might not be able to engage too much today. But Joan, I sent you a message with info that Katie shared about some feedback from an ELL group. So if there is an opportunity to share that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that was great because they weren't, neither Katie or Kelly were able to participate. So I have those notes. So thank you for passing that along. So okay. Well, so I think kind of what we have done since we last met, we had a subgroup that met to kind of brainstorm some of the immigrant groups that we would like to reach out to collaborate with us and walk alongside with us for Welcoming Week, because we don't, we want to have it be an authentic celebration and have our immigrant partners intimately involved with this. And so it feels real. So we brainstormed a list of groups that we're going to reach out to with the idea that some of them might be able to join us today. Probably many will not be able to, and then we would have another subcommittee after that. But today we just wanted to kind of report back what anybody has learned or had thoughts about. And then we'll have a subcommittee for the Welcoming Week that will have just kind of an update at this meeting moving forward. So we have until September, so we have a little bit of time, but we thought that would make the most sense for how to structure our work. So with that, Na, it would be great to hear from you because you're one of our recruits who was actually able to come today. So
yeah, thank you. I talked with Katie. So we were thinking of doing a multicultural festival to kick off the Welcoming Week. So September 9th is a Saturday, I think. If we can have the stands like vendors come there to the Ped Mall, and we have performances from different ethnic groups, like for afternoon from 2 to 6 p.m., things like that. So we can have different groups like churches or temples to present their information, and the ethnic groups or association to introduce themselves, present a voucher, flyers, things like that. We can also have food stand from different ethnic groups, kind of like the Latino festival, in October, they do food stand, they do performance, but this time we'll just do multicultural. We have different ethnic group take part in. So I checked with Nancy Bird of Downtown District and also Wendy from the City of Iowa City about a reservation, the availability on September 9th. So there is a 5 p.m. salsa music by Downtown District. So I tried to contact with Nancy about possibility of include them in our multicultural festival. So I want to check with you, see if that's possible or if any group interested in participate.
yeah, and I am trying to remember, Nikki from North Liberty isn't here. So Peter or Ed, do you guys remember when North Liberty was going to have their multicultural event? I probably have it in notes somewhere, but not
Yeah,
handy.
I'll see if I can check my notes.
Oh, okay. Because I think that sounds great. What we're trying to do is, since we're doing this countywide, we don't want to have competing interests. Like, we don't want to have something happening in North Liberty at the same time that might be happening in Coralville or in Iowa City. But I think that sounds wonderful. So you have done some of these in the past. Is that correct? You were involved in the past with a
So in the past, we mainly involved with Chinese community for Lunar New Year. It's
okay.
in English Theater. And we also have some rally. It's for Chinese community. So it's good that I ask you, because I don't know North Liberty is having a multicultural festival. And if it's in different time, maybe we can ask their group to come here to present themselves in our city as well.
Right. And I think it was actually Nikki's with the city of North Liberty. And so she was similar to you. She's recruiting folks, for a big celebration. So I think our idea was, if we had kind of a countywide effort, then there would be like a menu of choices for everyone to participate. So, but it's great to know and that you have some experience doing this, for one thing, and that you've done some legwork already on the PEDMO.
Yeah, we don't have to call it multicultural activity, like kickoff for Welcome Week.
Yeah.
Activity.
Yeah, I think that sounds really good.
Yeah, we can just call it kickoff.
Well, and I think it's just a matter of making sure that we're that we have coordination. And I am embarrassed that I can't remember when North Liberty said they were doing theirs. So.
It's okay. So yeah, I think the purpose is to make sure everybody involved to welcome or to take part in the welcoming week. Doesn't matter what it calls. We don't want to, like you said, make them feel bad or make us look bad by calling the same name. Right. We can always change the name, but my idea is we want to get as many immigrant groups and refugee groups to take part in the welcoming week. And I think doing a food stand or performance or introduction stand might be useful. We can also connect with public library for them to give us some conference rooms, so some of the groups can go there. I'm finishing up right now. Doing the instruction or things like that.
Yeah. And so when you put together a celebration for the Lunar New Year, can you tell us a little bit about what you had for those activities, and what, like, if you had performances or what you had there?
So because it's an indoor performance, we are able to have the tenor, the solo singer who is professional singers. That part I don't think will work in the PEDMO, but other shows should work. Then we have lion dance, dragon dance, choir from adults, choir from the kids, and we have a classic Chinese dance. It's a group dance, and we have a group of girls singing songs. So we have both singing, dances, and some traditional music playing, like guzheng. And we can add more traditional performances, which is suitable for outdoors. Yeah, so we have 9 performances this year for the Lunar New Year. Last year in April, we have a evening of Chinese arts. That has 12 shows of 12 performance groups.
Wow, that's fabulous.
Yeah, so we want to give people the impression that Chinese is not silent or has no talent. We do have some talents, not so many, but some.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So thoughts from the group. I mean, so we're still in a brainstorming stage with all of this. anyone else want to kind of have any questions for now, or, oh yeah, Abby Freeze, you have your hand up.
I just wanted to share, I don't know how many people are aware of this, but apparently at the Coralville Public Library, they have kind of what I understand to be kind of like a potluck style meal, like maybe, I don't know if it's once a month or every couple weeks. And it's like a kind of an intercultural, multicultural type event. One of my coworkers here at CMC lives in Coralville and said that he's doing his he's actually finishing his bachelor's in social work right now and does his practicum at the Coralville Public Library. And yeah, and so he said that they do that like once a week or once a month or maybe every other week. I can't remember. But I was just thinking, oh, that is really cool. And I wasn't sure if that would be like, if something like that would be something that would be interested in incorporating into Welcome Week or not.
Right. And also just to visit with them a little bit more, because I know Sunday had reached out to folks in Coralville and hadn't had a lot of success. So this sounds like a group that's kind of made for this. So that's a great contact. Can you maybe send me an email or put in the chat a contact?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, and then the other thing, Kelly Schneider and Katie Gerlach went to ELL classes and talked with them about the concept of Welcoming Week and what they would like to do. And so they got lots of feedback. And I have to say it was there's a lot of similarities from what Na was talking about. The students in the ELL classes talked about that they would like to showcase the different cultures that we have in our community, including maybe a fashion show, things with the arts, doing some sports and games, having a potluck, eating together, maybe even a tournament, between sports or games, and then as well as storytelling. And then kind of similar to what Na was saying, perhaps having some educational sessions at the library for people wanting to learn more about resumes, maybe have a job fair, doing some things. I think there's lots of issues with our degrees here in this country are different than where people are coming from. And so maybe some review of what degrees, what you can do with what, which is very complicated. And then some financial planning. So it seems like the concept that Na had talked about, having a kind of a central spot where we showcase things, as well as maybe more educational opportunities at the library could work, I think, pretty well. So, and I don't know, Liz, if you're still on the line, if you have anything to add to that.
Oasis at UI, they are holding multicultural activities in November, but they are willing to participate in the Welcoming Week. They have shows, dances too.
Okay, and that's Oasis?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. And Peggy's saying that K-Pace, oh yeah, that she's offering up that. She doesn't have a microphone today, so. Okay, yeah, and yeah, Liz had in the chat what I just said. So, well, I was also able to visit a little bit with Sarah Hunan, who's with the Sudanese American Association for Service, and delightful conversation. And they were thinking of having a Sudanese day at some point. And I think I got the idea that would maybe be at their center. But I think maybe a combination of something downtown as well as at their center. I'm going to visit more with the leadership team of that Sudanese Association. So if anyone would like to join me, just to kind of brainstorm some ideas and share a little bit more. I think weekends work best for them to visit. But it was we had a great initial conversation. It's just she needs to take it back to her leadership group. And then similarly at Open Heartland, this Welcome Week actually kind of overlaps the National Hispanic Americans Week as well. So I think they would be interested in doing something as well, perhaps at Open Heartland. But, you know, I think if we have kind of consensus among the group that we might want to have something downtown, then maybe people can do one or the other or both. So. Has anyone else had any thoughts or visited with other immigrant groups that they'd like to share with us all?
Put in the chat about the Coralville Library Community Ambassadors.
Oh, great.
Which is, I think, part of that meal, that potluck meal group. But
oh, perfect.
They have a variety of folks from different communities that are trained to assist people from their community to access resources, local resources, and just be kind of a one place information stop.
Oh, excellent.
So I definitely think we'd want to include, I'm sure there must be some person who oversees that group. I'm not completely sure who that is, but right, who provides training for the different ambassadors.
Yeah. I have her contact information. Her name is Samira Abdallah. I could reach out to her if you guys would like me to.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, if you'd be willing to do that, that'd be fabulous.
Absolutely. I will say, this is completely out of left field, but I was there speaking to their group a couple of weeks ago, and they're in the midst of some kind of chai battle, seeing who can make the best chai. And I highly recommend you go and taste some chai at one of their meetings, because it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh, okay. Noted. That's very good. So we have a couple of folks from the resettlement agencies here today, and I, you guys have contact, on a daily basis with our most recent refugees. Do you guys have any thoughts of how your agency or the folks that you represent might want to participate in a welcoming week? Picking on one of the Sarahs, perhaps?
I can jump in.
Okay.
We would love to participate in the welcoming week. We have not, we're working on building relationships still, as part of, still being one of the new players in the state. So we would love to participate in any way that makes sense for us that feels appropriate. I feel like, you guys are our go-to group for building relationships. So I'm not sure there's much that we have to bring as far as, or to recommend, but we can definitely continue to ponder that if there's anyone that we would recommend, but we would love to participate and definitely, spend some time with all of you as part of that too.
Well, and also some of Peter's class collaborated with you all in a refugee simulation. So that was one thought that we had that might be an interesting activity to do. It was at the University of Iowa, and one of your colleagues was kind of leading through what it's like when you're a refugee and how challenging that is. So that was something on the table too, just to kind of build a little empathy. And Peter, do you want to add to that?
Well, Katie Spleen from the Catherine McCauley Center, who is here, she led the refugee simulation this year. Sarah did last year. And yeah, Katie and I did talk about the possibility of doing a simulation during the welcoming week, though I think it remains a possibility. Some things would have to line up. For example, doing these simulations requires having a set number, a dozen or so volunteers who can act in some of the roles that are needed for the simulation, and then inviting others to be the participants. So it remains a possibility. I did also want to note that I have plans to meet with Jean-Paul Mugamuzi.
Oh, good.
We have not yet been able to meet about this, but we will. So I hope to be able to give his thoughts about Welcoming Week too.
And he's with the Immigrant and Refugee Association. Is that, am I getting the other way around? Refugee and Immigrant Association. Okay, great. Good.
Joan, I've had a fair amount of contact just because of some vaccination and TB testing needs with a number of the Ukrainian immigrants who've come into the community. And I think, I mean, a lot of them, right, are still really in the early stages of getting settled, but perhaps by the fall, you know, there might be some interest in participating. So I'd be happy to talk with some of the folks. I'm not aware of, right, like kind of a group yet,
right,
of that group of refugees. So I'd be happy to
that would
look
be
into-
fabulous. Yeah, they probably haven't been here long enough to actually
kind of organize.
To organize.
Still trying to get their feet on the ground.
Exactly. But and you know, the woman who used to run Utopia had some Ukrainian connections too. I wonder if they maybe had a partner, you know, to help with all of the logistics of if they wanted to put something together. That's great, Jennifer. If you could do that, that would be fabulous.
Mm-hmm. And I would just, I attended, I saw you there too, Joan, at the refugee simulation, and it was really interesting, but I do kind of want to say, remember, that's intended for people who haven't gone through the experience of being a refugee, to try and open their eyes to what it's like. So I would want us to consider who we're aiming this Welcome Week at, because I mean, right at the beginning of the simulation, there was a lot of talk of, right, if you are here and you find this triggering, or it becomes, you know, you feel distressed by going through this, I'm not sure that people who are refugees want to experience it again.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think our audience is probably also the general public, just to celebrate our diversity and to learn about different cultures. But point well taken. It's like who the audience would be. We'd want to probably be pretty explicit about that. So
I'll speak up. So it never hurts. Like, we've cast broad nets, and we have had people with refugee experience who have come to the simulations. I think if people make that decision to come, they probably are at a point where, you know, they're ready to experience, and they might be coming out of curiosity to see, like, how effective is this. Those folks have really been quite an asset in the debriefing part afterwards. They've had some really great feedback and been able to contribute what they feel comfortable of their own experiences, and draw some parallels to say, you know, these aspects of it, you know, as miserable as that may have felt, this is still nothing compared to what it really is like. So, you know, I would certainly target the audience as more of general public who do not have that experience, but it's certainly not something that people have to self-select out of. I mean, we've been very careful in creating it to make sure that, you know, it's hopefully not going to be like super traumatizing, but it does get an experience and a point across.
Well, and I like the idea of providing some of those educational opportunities and those things to build empathy, because I know I think sometimes our immigrant communities can kind of feel invisible and unknown, and I feel anything that we can do to help the greater community understand the rich diversity we have, but also a little empathy for what it's like to have to go through what they've gone through and relocate. So I think a little bit of balance of education as well as just celebration is the ideal. So other thoughts on that? Anyone else want to chime in? And thanks for clarifying that, Katie.
Yeah, so for Saturday, for weekends meeting with Open Heartland, I am usually open on weekends, so
okay,
this time
okay.
works. I
Great.
would like to take part in.
And actually, on the weekend, it's with the Sudanese community.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So, and then Open Heartland, I think we were just going to go for coffee at some point. So, but yeah, it's good to know. And I think we'll have another subcommittee of, the folks from ICAD and some of the city departments and Better Together. So now I'll add you to that list. And I don't know if someone from Catherine McCauley, if you want to join our planning committee at any time, if you want to think about that or just shoot me an email. Because I think what we have is we have a Google Drive, and as we start nailing things down, we'll put in that like, oh, we're going to have a multicultural festival at the Ped Mall on September 9th or whatever. We'll start laying that out. And there are so many resources that I learned about to do this. And I'm excited by the opportunity of having, our immigrant associations walk side by side with a welcoming week that was done prior to COVID, but didn't have as much of a immigrant presence in the planning of it. So I think bringing this all together is the process, I think, is going to be as good as the outcome, because it's just good.
I agree. I agree. Process is also important.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, well, that's a good offer. So yeah, if I think that's pretty much the updates from the welcoming week. Anything else that anyone wants to add about welcoming week?
Since I'll let people ultimately decide like how they feel about a simulation. I do just want to be very upfront about as Peter said, there are a lot of volunteers needed to make that happen. It requires a decent sized place to make it happen. We need like a gym or something of that size for people to move around in. And because of the amount of resources that go into it, we really do want to have a good sized turnout, ideally 50 to 100 people. And just looking at the fact that like Welcoming Week is national, and we have been involved and will continue to be involved up in Cedar Rapids with theirs. Last year, we did do a simulation in Cedar Rapids as part of Welcoming Week. And I've got a tentative confirmation from the professor that we collaborated with to do that again. So in terms of doing 2 simulations in a week, it is a lot.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I'm not totally like ready to commit to anything. And I just want to be very clear about like, here's what this would take. And that's not to say that we couldn't, still be involved in some sort of way, but I, basically since last September, I've had a tentative, simulation in Lynn County on the calendar. And that could be very strenuous to try and do 2 in a week.
Of course. No, it's, I'm happy that you shared that you have a limit on that. So that's good to know. So thank you.
Can I also jump in? It's Sarah from IRC again. We do have an update to share, and I think I might just say it now because it also would explain us leaning in a little more to participate in Welcoming Week. Also, I live in Iowa City, so I feel like I would love to be on the planning committee as a private citizen, but also in my capacity as an IRC staff member. So I think you could put us down as joining. And also related to that, whether this is quite the moment to say it or not. I did want to share on this call that we've been doing a lot of assessments and exploration, sort of central eastern Iowa, on just needs and gaps in services. And we did assessments in a number of, well, not a number, a small handful of locations in Iowa. And Iowa City came out as one of the biggest needs gaps in the state.
Wow.
So we have been speaking with MOC, as well as our own headquarters, and have informal approval to submit in our fiscal year 24 proposal. So that would be kicking off in October of this year, to do like official refugee resettlement in Iowa City and the metro.
Oh, wow.
So Johnson County. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not, I do again want to say, sort of as I did a couple months ago when we were first doing our exploration, like, again, this is not official, this is not confirmed, but this is something that has state refugee coordinator green light, our headquarters green light, and our assumption is that the donor with those approvals would be pretty favorable to accept us expanding. So that basically means like we would have an official number of refugees, we would officially come in and open initially a tiny space, and do formal resettlement. So we have a lot of reasons to lean in more starting now, since we know that's probable. So just sharing with this group, we'll probably want to reach out to start making further connections. Yeah, that's the official word, even if it's not 100%. And when we know it's 100%, we will share that immediately with this circle.
Wow. Well, the chats are coming through about what amazing news that is. So thank you for sharing that. It's great news. I think we have recognized in Iowa City for quite some time that there's some gaps in services. So it's and I've heard Mock mention just Eastern Iowa is it's Catherine McCauley trying to do it all. So this is fabulous news. I'm super excited, and we would love to have you in the planning and wonderful to know that we're going to have potentially a resource here locally. That's really great news.
Yeah, super excited. We know it's a very welcoming, it's a great community for refugees to come into. So very optimistic and look forward. We've exchanged with Paula about it for the CMC colleagues. And we very much look forward to, collaboration, knowing you already have some involvement in the Iowa City area. So definitely want to collaborate, positive coordination with all. That's certainly the intention.
Yeah, great. Wow, that's an excellent announcement, because I was actually going to close out the welcoming discussion and talk and just see if there were any other general announcements. So nice segue. So anyone else have any announcements to share of anything going on in the community that the group should know about?
I see Sonia has her hand up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, Sonia.
Sorry, this is Sonia. And if there are ways that BRS can be involved in Welcome Week, don't hesitate to let us know. So we'd like to be involved if there are things we can do.
Okay. Have you been involved? Well, you're new to the Bureau, so I don't know if there are examples of that perhaps we could be thinking about.
The sponsorship, possibly if there's a need for sponsorship of anything.
Okay.
If there's an opportunity for us to be at a booth with a table to pass out information. But I think it would mainly be sponsorship. So yeah, let us know if there's any support that you need.
Perfect. Thank you. And
Joan,
yes.
I just wanted to add real quick. Tell me if I'm wrong, Catherine McCauley folks. But my understanding is that both Catherine McCauley Center and the Iowa International Center in Des Moines have open nominations for awards recognizing refugees and immigrants in our communities doing excellent work. I'm about to, trying to get to the web pages, but since there are CMC folks here, maybe you can do that one and I'll find the Iowa International Center. I believe the deadlines are very soon, so fast fingers if you know somebody that you want to nominate. Iowa International Center's program is called Passport to Prosperity, and that's I think about 20 years old now. They've had a lot of really amazing awardees. Let me find that webpage, and I know that CMC folks can do theirs. I think it's a relationship between individuals and business, if I'm not mistaken.
Thanks
Anyway.
for the promo, Peter.
Yeah, hey, you got it.
Yes, yeah, I believe Friday, if that's like the 28th or something, I think that's our cutoff for nominations. And we will be hosting a, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, this Refugee and Immigrant Business Award luncheon-ish thing in June. And we are looking for, we'll have 4 different awards geared towards outstanding individuals and businesses that have worked really well with refugees and immigrants. And we're looking to celebrate those community leaders and their contributions to creating a welcoming community and uplifting our refugee and immigrant neighbors. So if anybody stands out, we would love to get your nominations and be able to honor some outstanding collaborators in June. And stay tuned for more information if you would be interested in attending that event.
Great. Great. Thank you. That sounds wonderful. And Peter put in the link in the chat, the link to that. So, all right.
The link is for the Iowa International Center, not for Catherine McCauley. Just
okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Find the CMC one and drop that too.
Yeah, I
Okay,
was just gonna
that's
say, I'm
great.
looking for that too.
Okay. Any other announcements, updates? All right. Well, so I have a few people to add to our planning committee list, and I think for next month we'll have an update on Welcoming Week, but we will have another topic to discuss as well. And if anyone has something that they would like to present, please contact either Ed or Sunday, Peter or me, and we'll add that to the list of presenters. And I think, unless anyone else has anything for the good of the cause, I think it's a wrap.
I was just going to chime in that I copied and pasted in the link to our site about immigration.
Oh, perfect.
And
Thank
business
you.
luncheon.
Okay. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it was good seeing everybody. Thank you. And we'll stay in touch on all of this. So thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.